That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Oh, no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
Fairly alarmed here.
Welcome to MOTN Random Select, where we count down and rate 8 movies randomly chosen to be pitted against each other until there could be only one.
One.
Absolutely. There's only going to be one left.
There's only going to be one left, and it's going to get ugly.
Yeah.
You thought there were hashtag hard cuts before.
I mean, this might get silly. We'll see.
We'll see. As of course, I'm your host, Mike G. And with me, as always, is the review co-host who knows the most, Brian.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me back. It's great. Happy holidays to you. Hope that Thanksgiving was good for you.
Oh, man, I got that turkin, that tryptophan.
Did you deep fry that thing? Smoke it?
There was one deep
oven?
fried.
There was one deep fried.
Man, my cousin made these mashed potatoes where he broiled the top of the mashed potatoes with, like, cheese and stuff, my man.
Ooh.
It was like mashed potatoes with a crust on it.
Oh.
It was
Man.
dank, my man.
That's fantastic.
I told him to make me just some later. He was like, okay.
How big of a turkey did you have?
We had 2 turkeys and 2 hams.
2 turkeys, 2 hams.
We got a
How
big
many
family.
people? Big family?
Big
Like,
family. So,
holy smokes.
and in fact, after this show, I may stop by my Gmaws to pick up another plate, my man.
Absolutely.
It's got to be some left.
Absolutely. She didn't need it all.
She don't need it all, man. And if she does, that'll be kind of worrying.
I made some watered down greens. So,
Hey.
ladies and gentlemen, it's not the fact that I don't know how to make greens. It's the fact that I used a pot. I thought I was a chef on Top Chef, and I used one of those industrial, like, 2-3 feet tall, like, soup
Yikes.
pots.
Yeah, from the
And,
movies.
you know, I just put a bunch of water in it and then put
Man,
greens in it. And
greens
that
are
wasn't
hard.
good. Dude, you know, you got to get that broth right.
Yeah, man, it's like cooking gumbo. If the rule's wrong, your whole pot's wrecked. You just spent $400 on gumbo fixings with a garbage roux, dog.
Absolutely. And no one wants a garbage roux.
Nobody wants garbage roux, dog. So you may be asking yourself, what is this episode about? What is MOTN doing now? So Brian came up with the brilliant idea that we do a kind of a college basketball kind of fatal 4-way. Elite Eight, Sweet 16.
Tournament to the death.
Tournament fighters of films randomly selected within any genre.
Completely random. And that's what's absolutely fantastic about this idea and today's show, because we are just talking. It was a completely random poll. So, you know, it could be horror versus action, romance versus anime. I don't know.
Documentary versus, snuff film.
Oh, I forgot about the old documentary
Yeah,
section.
man.
Holy smokes.
Man.
That could get depressing.
That could get
deep.
sad fast. It's like Roger and Me versus Requiem for a Dream. Like, we're both going to need counseling after that one.
Oh, man.
Cool.
So, yeah, absolutely. I really hope you guys like it. And what would be awesome is if we cut it up into segments. We post it on Twitter.
Absolutely.
The tournament. People can choose their favorites, and
That's
they'll
exactly
kinda
what's
go
gonna
up against
happen.
Stars, and absolutely. So we'll be looking forward to you guys pushing buttons, or
Absolute-
ladies.
Definitely. So this is the setup for the MOTM Random Select. We hope you enjoy. Perfect. So let's go ahead and start this tournament of lordly caliber with 2 films that kind of don't go together whatsoever.
What are the first 2 films?
The first 2 films, the ones that broke the seal. The first film we have for you today is Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest.
Versus
James Bond's own Spectre.
Alrighty.
So
Wow. How did we get these 2 together? We got Johnny Depp versus
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig. I think Daniel Craig would take Johnny Depp.
I don't
in a
know.
fight.
I'm sure Johnny Depp smells a little, and that's a fight barrier.
Johnny also looks like he might pull out a knife on somebody.
Johnny looks
like Switchblade.
Yeah, he looks a little shifty, man.
All right, no offense if you're listening.
If you ever listen to this in the infinite time frames, you just look like a cat who would have pocket sand. You know what I'm saying? Like Dale Dribble.
Correct.
Pocket sand.
So,
That's how he do it. So let's go over these films each and then pit them against each other. So we're going to start with Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, which I believe is the first sequel after Curse with the Black Pearl, if I remember correctly.
all right, a little bit of background for me when it comes to pirates. And this is one of the reasons I love this framework so much.
Yeah.
Is the fact that I haven't seen any Pirates movie. Zero.
Wow.
None. I've
Wow.
never seen a single Pirates movie. And we're actually going to have that as a reoccurring theme throughout today's cast. So my opinions may seem a little fresh because I've never seen any of these, and people are like, bro, that was made like in 2002.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. But Dead Man's Chest, here's what I got to say about Dead Man's Chest.
Really quickly before you jump in, I'm going to give a quick 5-second spiel of what the movie is about. Really quick. When the ghostly pirate Davy Jones comes to collect a blood debt from Captain Jack Sparrow, he must find a way to avoid his fate, lest his soul be damned for all time. Of course, while all this is going on, the wily ghost manages to interrupt the wedding plans of Jack's friends Will Turner and Elizabeth Swan. What are your thoughts?
You should probably just go ahead and do the Spectre right now, too. Knock out the synopsis. And
Okay,
then,
let's do it.
Absolutely.
Spectre. A cryptic message from the past leads James Bond, who is Daniel Craig, to Mexico City in Rome, where he meets the beautiful widow, played by Monica Bellucci, of a famous criminal. After infiltrating a secret clandestine meeting, 007 undiscovers the existence of the sinister organization known only as Spectre.
All right, and I'm just going to jump into it. So, I'm just going to put these two against each other because that's the only.
You know
way I
what?
can do this.
Tell me your thoughts on Pirates first.
Pirates. Okay, here's Pirates. Pirates was a really good movie. Mm-hmm. There was about an hour and a half worth of unnecessary of people just running around screaming.
Because it's funny.
Like, it is not funny. That movie was 2.5 hours of... Like, if they could have cut it down to 1:15, you're talking might be Oscar worthy. Are you freaking kidding me? It was such a fun ride.
Yeah.
But the long gaps of you
don't like the sound of Johnny Depp just
gracious.
bailing out his weird scream?
No,
No,
not for endless minutes. And the only thing I could compare it to was like Lord of the Rings fight scene where you're just hearing the bank clanging of swords.
Yeah, it sounds
for
like someone's
minutes
eating
and
dinner.
minutes.
Yeah.
This was not that type of good sound. This was like kids screaming in the background for like 45
It's
minutes.
a lot of roars from a lot of characters at unnecessary points of the film. Like the movie's like 3 hours long, isn't it?
It was 2:30, man. And it was a long 2:30. It was not a short 2:30. I will give the film the fact that the story was actually really good. I thought it was a fun, creative story. Not seeing a Pirates movie, I found the characters to be charming and, likable. So that was a huge bonus. But overall, there was just way too much yelling.
I mean, yeah. But one thing I will say about this film is that there's a lot of world building. There's a whole lot of world building that I liked about it. That the first Pirates movie, because nothing really existed from the first Pirates movie to the second one, just to give you some context. I mean, other than the characters and pretty much, the world of pirates, as it were. the graphics on this movie were bleeding edge at the time, and they kind of still hold up in certain spots. I think Davy Jones's effects are amazing.
I thought Davy Jones' effects were amazing.
I mean,
that was a
just
great job.
Nutty.
Great character.
I love this character even through the entire series.
Absolutely
Cruel.
Loved it.
Yeah, Bill Nighy. He and it's funny because this is going to be one of my major sticky points about these two films is that the main villains, one does it and one doesn't do it, in my opinion. So in that, would you like to go into Spectre?
Yes, I would like to go into Spectre because when I have to put these movies against each other, and when we first randomized this, and I thought I saw these, I had not seen Spectre yet either, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh wow,
so,
yeah.
You know, I was going into it. It's a film I wanted to watch. I just hadn't caught up with it. I have to tell you, I found that to be completely, I don't want to say whitewashed, but there was no depth to what I was looking at. It was very top layer, and the top layer was not fantastic. That very first helicopter scene was absolutely ridiculously silly.
And that's the thing, it's silly. It's not action packed.
It's not James Bond.
You know, it's almost like if you know how they have the creative stages in video games where they let people build the stage and and you can just put your character in the middle of it and they just kind of run the maze.
Correct.
This movie really felt like it was just James Bond running a maze with no stakes and no plot development and no character development.
I want to say, Daniel Craig, I love you as James Bond, I do, but honestly, I kind of felt like Jennifer Lawrence in X-Men. Like, this dude just does not
just
care
tired,
about what
man.
is going on this screen right now.
You can tell the Bonds where he's into it, and you can tell the ones he isn't. Because I saw Spectre many years ago, like when it first came out. I think it's been out for many years at this point. And I just recently watched it again for this show, and I just got to say, as much as I love Bill Nighy as the infamous Davy Jones, Gandalf Waltz as Blofeld just didn't do it for me. I'm not a fan of Gandalf Waltz. I don't like his brand, of acting, because he's always too lax to be truly intimidating.
Yes.
Or menacing, or even to be taken serious, because he does it all with a smile.
Yes.
And all his villains, and I've been kind of spoiled because when I think of Gandalf Waltz, I don't think of Inglourious Bastards and how he killed it in that movie. I think about Green Hornet, where he's Bludnovsky. It is the worst.
Oh, folks, you can't see the face that I just made.
It's ugly, dude. When I see Gandalf Waltz, I see that.
I'm sorry, we're not being.
I don't see Django Unchained.
Yeah.
I don't see these where he's actually good. All I see is that stupid. Yeah,
I didn't really care for him in Django either. So
that's what I'm saying.
You
Like,
know,
I don't like his brand of acting.
Yeah.
It's just not my. And so when you got the development of Blofeld, which was all at the end of the film, you know what I mean? Because it's really rushed. This movie.
Another film which is 2 hours and 12 minutes
Right.
long, and
That
it's like, what
doesn't
are you
need to be.
doing with this time?
It just doesn't need to be this long. It would have been a more interesting, action-packed endeavor if the film just got where it needed to go.
And I want to say, and I haven't seen Skyfall in a while, or the newest, the first one of the newest editions.
Casino Royale.
But I want to say the pacing was much better in those films. And for me, this is a reoccurring theme you'll hear from me is, pacing matters.
Pacing super matters.
We live in a world where everything is go, 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 go. And then you have this story which is bland at best with serious pacing problems.
I just think it feels like it owes too much to what a Bond movie is, that it bloats itself with vistas and beautiful scenery and nice dresses and fancy cocktails, where you can just cut all that crap out and get right to the cool Batista, fingernail puncture the eye movements.
Bringing people back from the dead,
rehashing old films that did well.
It was just.
I'm gonna be talking about that a lot. Movies that rehash old films. because you remember when that happened.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get to the nitty gritty.
What is
your verdict between these two films?
I am going with Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest.
And why?
Because I found that the was slightly more entertaining than
Sleep.
Well, here's the thing. Not seeing a Pirates movie, expectations were low. Seeing a Bond movie, you go in with a certain level of, hey, I'm going to get a certain coolness, feel.
Right.
Bond let me down on every one of those levels. So, yeah, no, I just can't go with it. So I got to go with Dead Man's Chest.
And in this weird moment where I just see ourselves as some kind of nouveau Siskel and Ebert, I gotta go Pirates, man. I mean, it's the more entertaining film. At the end of the day, both of these movies are labeled action films, right?
Oh man,
or adventure films, right?
Adventures
in two different ways, right?
Yes.
Where Pirates is constantly bombarding you with screams, though irritating. It is something happening on the screen, and there's a through line. And and everyone has their own motivations, and there's development with some characters. You know what I mean? It's still a goofy film that doesn't make much sense if you look at it for more than 5 minutes.
But the story at the end of the day about finding a dead man's chest was like,
realized.
Oh, well, yeah, that was kind of cool, man. Like, yeah, that's cool.
And in like many of these series that, have multiple directors, you know what I mean? Like the James Bond series has dozens of directors at this point in its lineage, is that it starts to cannibalize itself so much that it becomes watered down coffee. It doesn't wake you up. And I think that the problem with Spectre is that it's so, like you were mentioning earlier, so milquetoast, so muted. There's not a drop of blood in this movie. You know what I'm saying? People are getting shot left and right.
You know what? I did not even
think about it like
I did not even know there was not a drop of blood. It looked
that's another thing I'm going to talk about later.
What the heck with...
Right? So many people shot and tortured. The closest thing you got was Blofeld, who had that gnarly scar, but that was dry as a bone. It was a practical effect. Maybe it wasn't.
PG-13 or PG?
PG-13 because of all the sexual innuendo.
Oh, yeah. Dude, and...
James Bond's love interest in this film.
Come on, man. Like, some random person dies, and next thing you're doing is sleeping with his wife without any explanation.
It's Bond, dude. It's Bond, man. That's how you get down. Bond has no guy code. You can't be 007 and have a guy code. You break it too often, dog.
Honestly, I can't believe that I picked Dead Man's Chest, but yeah, it was the better film.
It's the better film. I mean, if you're going to put these two films in a white room in a vacuum and place them against each other on their own, Dead Man's Chest, the first sequel to the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, is the superior film and deserves to go next in the bracket.
What are your thoughts and your opinions, ladies and gentlemen? We'd love to hear your comments. Be sure to click in the voting poll. We'll be sure to post that somewhere when it's all said and done.
Absolutely. We're going to open this to the polls to let you guys tell me what you think was the better film.
Round one, complete.
So check out our Twitter handle at MNerdiverse for more details. You should be seeing that post right after you listen to this podcast. Thank you so much, and we'll be talking with you later.